Welcome back to Ghost Pirate Entertainment. I'm your host, Kanan Becker, and today I give you 10 more recommendations on Tubi. And let's get to the list.
You will serve me for the rest of your life.
Chained is a 2012 Canadian psychological horror movie, directed by Jennifer Lynch and based on a screenplay by Damien O'Donnell. It stars Vincent D'Onofrio as a serial killer and Eamon Farron as his young prisoner. It explores their relationship as the killer looks to turn the captive into his young protege.
This is your world. From now on, it is only me, you, and them.
Wow, what a brutal movie this is. This is one of the darkest, disconcerting movies I have ever seen. But it isn't necessarily gory or graphic. Just the premise and how the story unfolds are disturbing as hell. Vincent D'Onofrio gives an amazing performance, just transforming into this badly mentally damaged, dirty, grimy serial killer. This movie is grotesque and bleak, so it isn't for everyone. But if you're fascinated with warped, demented stories, then this is one you cannot miss.
Jack, can you hear me?
What's the matter, Doc? You look like you've seen a ghost.
The Jacket is a 2005 psychological sci-fi thriller. Directed by John Maybury and loosely based on a 1915 novel, The Star Rover, it stars Adrian Brody, Keira Knightley, Chris Christopherson, and Jennifer Jason Leigh. Gulf War veteran John Starks can't explain why he's found at the scene of a murder. Ordered to a mental hospital, he's subjected to an unusual treatment plan, which involves mysterious injections, sensory deprivation, and confinement in a straitjacket, which causes him to discover he has the ability to travel to the future. This is such a little talked about gem. It's mysterious, thought-provoking, and exciting, with a gritty, dark, unsettling vibe. And wow, Adrian Brody gives a hell of a performance in this, just playing this broken, emotionally heart-wrenching character. This is another fantastic movie that really deserves more attention. So definitely add this to your list. Maniac is a 2012 psychological horror movie, directed by Frank Kalfoun and written by Alexander Aja and Gregory Levasseur. It stars Elijah Wood and Nora Arnauzetter, and it's a remake of the 1980 classic of the same name. The plot follows the violent exploits of a serial killer who removes his victims' scalps and attaches them to vintage mannequins. So I'm definitely a fan of the original 1980 film. I just love the gritty, filth-soaked landscape that movie has. But I really appreciate what they did with this remake. They didn't just try to copy the original, instead they did their own thing, with lots of creativity and originality. And going with the POV shot throughout really added to the disturbing nature. This is a twisted, unapologetic little film that I highly, highly recommend. Bone Tomahawk is a 2015 Western cannibal horror movie. Written and directed by S. Craig Zahler in his directorial debut, it stars Kurt Russell, Patrick Wilson, Matthew Fox, Richard Jenkins, David Arquette, and Sid Haig. The film is about a small-town sheriff who leads a posse into a desolate region to rescue 3 people who have been abducted by a cannibalistic Native American clan. This movie is savage as fuck! It's a fantastic Western with a brilliant cast. It has great style and grit to it as well. But it's also a gory, graphic, brutal horror movie with a badass performance by Kurt Russell. So if you're a fan of cannibalistic gore and filthy, dirty, grimy Western goodness, then this is an absolutely fantastic pick.
Take it. Take it. Take it.
The Sacrament is a 2013 found footage horror thriller. Written and directed by Ty West, it stars AJ Bowen and Joe Swanberg. It's loosely based on the real-life events of the Jonestown Massacre in 1978. It tells the story of two Vice News journalists who document a co-worker's attempt to locate his sister after she joins a reclusive religious commune.
Welcome to Eden Parish.
You guys built all this?
Father had a vision, and we built heaven here on earth.
Who is Father?
He's the guy that started all of this.
This is a somber, grim, uncomfortable slow burn. And even though I've seen documentaries and heard many accounts of the tragedy, just seeing it unfold with characters you feel invested in is shocking, brutal, and just terrifying. This is a well-done film. The acting is fantastic in this. It just makes you feel like you're seeing real events. If you're into true crime, cult history, and dramatic thrillers, this is an absolute must.
Your best friend. The neighbor next door. 1 minute, they're perfectly normal. The next, Rabid.
Rabid is a 1977 independent body horror movie. Written and directed by David Cronenberg, it stars Marilyn Chambers, Frank Moore, and Joe Silver. A young woman develops a taste for human blood after experimental plastic surgery, and any victim of hers turns into bloodthirsty zombies, leading to a citywide epidemic.
Health officials have said they consider the outbreak of the new strain of rabies as being potentially the worst of this century.
This is part one of my Cronenberg classic double feature weekend. This is a film from early in his career, but it still has a deep edge about social issues, elements you would see him obsess about in his films for the rest of his career. This becomes a gory zombie movie, but with some really creative plot twists. It also has loads of fantastic special effects and all around 1970s fun. So if you've never seen this one, do yourself a favor and check it out.
No one is safe from them. No power on earth can stop them. The only escape is death.
Shivers is a 1975 Canadian sci-fi body horror movie. It was written and directed by David Cronenberg in his directorial debut, and stars Paul Hampton, Lynn Lowry, and Barbara Steele. After a scientist living in a posh apartment complex slaughters a teen girl and himself, investigators discovered that the murderer had been carrying a deadly parasite, and those infected by the parasite turn into sex-obsessed, violent maniacs. So this is the second part of my Cronenberg double feature weekend, and this is a bloody, gore-filled, naked horde wild ride.
They possess men, women, and children, and drive them to acts of unbelievable horror.
This movie is such a blast. It's great because you can see already what made Cronenberg a great filmmaker. There's so many creative, amazing scenes that just seem otherworldly, with brilliant storytelling and shot selection. And it goes strong into body horror as well. So if you enjoy 1970s horror, this is a must. Replace is a 2017 stylishly sexy sci-fi thriller. It stars Rebecca Forsyth, Lucy Aaron, and the legend Barbara Crampton. It's about a young woman who has a skin disease that causes her skin to crumble away, but she discovers she can replace her skin with someone else's.
The outer layer of your skin is aging and dying at an extreme rate.
So she seeks out victims to preserve her beauty and remain flawless.
I can replace it with healthy skin. skin from other people.
This is a slow-building, disturbing movie with lots of mystery and intrigue, as well as great twists and reveals. It's a gorgeous movie in every way. It just looks amazing. From the beautiful cast to the sets, the lighting, and great camera work. Just overall an absolutely visually stunning movie. It's also full of well-done, brutal body horror. So for fans of slow burn, artsy indie horror, this is one to definitely check out.
On the most hazardous and dangerous and greatest adventure on which man has ever embarked.
Life is a 2017 sci-fi horror movie. Directed by Daniel Espinosa and written by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Rebecca Ferguson, and Ryan Reynolds. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station are on the edge of making the most important discovery in human history, the first evidence of extraterrestrial life on Mars. As members of the crew conduct their research, the rapidly evolving life form proves more intelligent and terrifying than anyone could have imagined.
I'd hate to jump the gun, but I think it's time. We're looking at the first proof of life beyond Earth.
So this is a fun popcorn sci-fi horror movie. It's exciting with some really creative creature designs and special effects. And the cast is brilliant and entertaining as hell. This is a fun watch and one definitely worth checking out.
I will kill her! Shoot her!
Wait. The witness has to die. Brainscan. I can't wait to see what you do next.
Brainscan is a 1994 sci-fi horror slasher. Directed by John Flynn and written by Brian Owens and Andrew Kevin Walker. It stars Edward Furlong, Frank Langella, and Ryder Smith. So horror movies and video games fascinate teenager Michael, and when he discovers a video game that portrays murder from the killer's point of view, he becomes obsessed with the game, thinking the events are only taking place in virtual reality. But soon he discovers that what happens in the game happens in reality.
There was a grisly murder in the quiet suburban town of Mountview today.
So you did it.
What was on that disc?
It's not a game anymore.
Hamilton and Hayden.
It's real.
God, I love this movie. It really takes me back. I remember when I first rented this from Hollywood Video on VHS. I was in love from the jump. This movie's creative and just has a different feel to it, but it's just so much fun. It's colorful and stylish, throwing you back into the 90s. It's definitely dated at this point, but that to me is what gives it its charm. But it's nothing serious at all. It's just a fun popcorn horror movie that's great for any Saturday night. So grab some popcorn and enjoy. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for me today. Please leave your comments down below. Let me know if there's anything I missed on Tubi, because your recommendations help me out so much. Also, if you could do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and ding that little bell, because that is the best way to keep track of this channel. And when I post videos like this, and I post videos like this every single week, I also want to give a huge, massive, enormous thank you to my patrons, because you guys, your support seriously means so much to me. And if you would like to find out more about becoming a patron, the link is down in the description. And like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button. And remember guys, horror can be fun. I'll see you guys next time.